Hi, I'm Mike Marino, and this is a brand new episode of Live from My Mother's Basement. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. And as you can tell, we're not in my mother's basement. No, we're actually someplace a little bit different. It's called Royal Caribbean's world famous Icon of the Seas. This is the biggest ship on the planet. And we happen to be the entertainers this week on this ship in a place they call the Attic Comedy Club. And with me today is fellow comedian, and I want to say actor, producer, director. He does it all. This guy is a jack of all trades. His name is Lucas Bohn. What's up, my brother?
Nothing much, Mike. How's it going, brother?
Thank you for getting up early.
Oh, man, this was fun.
Taking a chance of coming down the so-called basement here on the ship. So we happen to be here for a week. We do maybe 2 to 3 shows a night in this beautiful comedy club. We could do whatever we want. It's an R-rated show. I've never worked with Lucas before. I heard about him. I hope you heard about me.
Yeah, oh yeah, no. You're a legend, man. Legend.
I'm a legend, and here we are in the basement. But anyhow, what's really great for, I believe, and I'm going to say this for comedians, it's to perform with other comedians you actually admire, you find funny as shit. You sit in the back and go, oh, why didn't I think of that? Yeah. And you just think, wow, let's have a great week. Got to get him on the show. I hope he's a cool dude and says, okay. And he did, and here we are. Yeah, he's from a different part of the world. I'm from New Jersey, so you know I have that type of style of comedy. He's not. He's got a different type of style of comedy, I believe, yet there's one thing I want to say, and I'm going to have him critique and talk about all of this. Comedians have a built-in metronome. We're on a beat. Yep. And no matter what we say, if it's on that beat and you have that timing, it's going to be funny. Yeah. Because we put it out. So you're sitting in the back of the room and you're watching your fellow entertainer and you're like, okay, he's on the beat. And now he's doing jokes. Oh, shit, why didn't I think of that? Oh, wow. Yep. Okay, you know what? Get him to talk about that on the podcast. Yeah. So here we are, man. How long you been doing stand-up?
Man, I started in 2002, Mike, but the funny story is the first time I ever performed stand-up was on a Holland America ship. I was in the 7th grade.
Really?
I was in the 7th grade.
Holy shit.
My grandparents took me. They were getting older in age, and they wanted to do something for each grandchild that would create a memory that we would always remember was special just for us and my grandparents. And my grandparents took me on an Alaskan cruise on the SS Rotterdam, which was, I don't even think they had that shit
I never heard of it.
But it was a Holland America ship. And this was like back in the day when they used to have a guest talent show. And it's as awful as it sounds, Mike. It is.
Is that like an open mic?
Oh gosh, it was. So like, I remember there was a guy with a trombone. He literally came on the ship with a trombone and he played the trombone. As a hobby,
because he knew that show was going down?
I have no clue. I mean, I have no clue.
Like who travels with a trombone?
Yeah.
Except the trombone player.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a singer. There was a person that did like a dance. And then we had a local library and they had cassette tapes. And one of the cassette tapes that you could rent was Henny Youngman, old Jewish comedian from the 1920s. And Mike, I probably listened to that cassette tape 900 times. I absorbed every joke. I knew every joke. So literally what I did was I went out in my little suit and it was kind of like a Rodney Dangerfield, Henny Youngman mashup. I came out and I went, oh, I get no respect. Hey, so take my wife, please. I went to the psychiatrist. He said, you're crazy. I said, I want a second opinion. He said, okay, you're ugly too. And for this demographic, Mike, I crushed, man. I crushed these people. And it was like day 3 of the cruise. From then on, anywhere I went, I did like 4 minutes. Anywhere I went, instant celebrity. My grandparents, people were coming up to us at the dinner. Oh, we saw your grand. And it was amazing. It was an amazing feeling. And I always remembered that, like, oh, that would be fun to do. Like if that was a job, that would be fun to do. Never wrote a joke. Never. It was all just, I was repeating Henny Youngman and Rodney Dangerfield jokes, but as like a little kid, you know? And then I was in college and...
Oh, wait a minute. We got to touch on all of this because not everybody's going to know Henny Youngman.
Henny Youngman.
Most people should know Rodney Dangerfield, of course. But let's do a little history here.
Yeah.
You're 7 when you did this?
So I was in the 7th grade. So I was probably like 11, 12.
Okay, so still,
Yeah, I was
how
young.
does 11-year-old kid in 2007, you said it was?
Oh,
2000?
no. This was like in the 90s.
In the
This was
90s.
In the 90s, yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
How do you know Henny Youngman?
So again,
How does a little kid
Yeah.
know Henny Youngman? Henny Youngman is your parents, your
yeah,
grandparents. Ronnie Dangerfield, you, me, my age, maybe a little younger than me, but to be a kid
Yeah.
and know who they are and to take the time to research who they are, you heard them,
Yeah.
and impersonate them
Yeah.
is a knockout completely because it's adorable.
Yeah.
Look at this young kid doing some classics.
Yeah. And that's what they loved. They loved that it was classic. And also, it was just like the juxtaposition, it's a big word, of like, I'm a young kid and I'm doing Henny Youngman jokes about his wife. You know, take my wife, please. You know, I just went on a pleasure trip. I took my mother-in-law to the airport. You know, I went to the psychiatrist. He said, you need to drown your troubles. I said, I can't seem to get my wife or her mother near any water. You know, like those. And Henny Youngman at the time was a one-off because back in the 20s and 30s, nobody talked bad about their wives or mother-in-laws or nothing. That was all. No one talked about it. No one did it. If you had a problem at home, it stayed at home. It did not come out. You did not voice your opinions about family members or your close-knit family at all. Henny Youngman was the first comedian to go on stage and say, we all don't like our mother-in-laws. Let's talk about it. And he just laid into it. And so that part of it, the fact that I was a 12-year-old kid talking about being married and take my wife, please, and my mother-in-law, that was hysterical. But also the fact that I knew these jokes. Like I said, that was my first comedic experience. I had never been to a comedy club. I'd never seen like late night. We lived in a very small rural town in Southern Virginia. And this going to the library and getting these cassette tapes of Henny Youngman, it was amazing because it was an art form that I had never been exposed to before. And I just sucked it up. I absorbed it. And
then got bit by the bug or the drug that said, man, you're going to have to do this all the time.
And
you're going to look for this feeling all the time. So just circling back real quick, could you imagine that there was a comedian who came up with a catchphrase or whether it was a joke or a callback that's memorable to this day? Take my wife, please.
Yeah.
Which nowadays people would be like, take my wife, please. The audience would be like, what did he say?
Yeah.
We could take his wife? What does that mean?
Yeah.
However, then it was giant.
Yeah.
I think he did that in Goodfellas.
Yeah. I mean, he did it. That was his catchphrase. That was his thing that people knew him of.
And they wanted him to say
And they wanted him to say
He has to say it every show.
Exactly. And you would see like old black and white videos of him doing live comedy. He would like, take my wife, please. And you'd see husbands and wives turn to each other in the audience and he said, that's what you say. You say that at home, but you don't let any. And it was such a big thing because he hit on something that, again, we always say this, Mike, the funniest things in comedy are the most relatable things. If a comedian can make an experience relatable, that's all we do. We have something happen to us and then we tell it in a way that strangers can relate to our experience emotionally, physically, hypothetically. And they go, well, I didn't have that happen to me, but I can understand how that would make me feel if it did happen. And so that was such a unique thing. It brought people together because every relationship has that dynamic, Everybody loves their mother-in-law, but you know what? They did things a certain way, and we all know we're not going to do it that way because the times are different, The
truth. The truth is always
exactly.
funny.
So it was the first time that someone did that, and everyone went, everybody feels like this. Everybody hates their mother-in-law. Everybody likes it when they leave, when they come and visit, and when they go home, you're like, oh, God, thank God they're not here anymore. And he was the first one to call it out. And I remember seeing that going, how come more people didn't do that? Like, that's what is great about comedy. They push the envelope into things that are considered taboo or considered not PC or
They might have. I mean,
Yeah.
we're from a different generation.
Yeah.
It's just that, he, like a lot of others,
Yeah.
just stood out
Yes.
all these years later, and they're not even alive. So it's classic. But you got bit by the bug. You went on stage. That was
Yep.
your first performance on a cruise ship. Holy
Yep.
shit. Now we're doing an interview on a cruise ship
Yeah.
all these years later. So after you did that, then what was going on?
So I was in community theater. I was a really big athlete in high school. I really liked competing. And I also did community theater, singing, dancing. But again, comedy was this thing that like, you had to be a special type of person, I thought. And I didn't think I was that person. I honestly didn't. I was like, you got to be so smart. You got to be so dedicated. You got to write everything. Like, I thought the writing process was very intimidating. You sit down and you write, and that's not how I do it. I experience something in my comedy, and then, I'll go and I'll jot some stuff down, but it's not like I'm writing word for word what I'm saying. I'll get up and then I'll work it out on stage, Yeah.
But
So-
that's far into the future. After, so you did this thing on the ship.
I did this thing on the ship, and then I went to college, and I had a job where I was.
So the community theater was when you were in like
And I was
grammar
high
school,
school.
high school.
Yeah, late like
do high
7th
school
grade, 8th
plays
grade,
and
9th grade. Yep, did community theater, high school theater, all through
As
high
an
school.
actor.
As an actor
And
singer,
you could
not
sing.
as a
You
comedian.
could sing.
I can sing well enough. I'm a great dancer for a male dancer. Yeah, I mean, like I wasn't classically trained, but like I can follow directions and I won't fall, and I could sing a little bit, like enough to where I wasn't the lead guy. I was normally the comedic relief, and so I didn't need to be perfect. I needed to be funny.
Yeah.
And so those were the roles that I got. I was never the lead guy. I was never Hugh Jackman. I was, Sacha Baron Cohen. I was the guy that was hello, I'm the funny guy. We're going to have a good time now. Very nice. And again, I was never the good looking guy. I was the other guy or the other guy. And that was fine with me because I wanted to be the funny guy. That's what I like to do.
Isn't it odd? Because I wanted to be that good looking guy. I wanted to be the lead, but I couldn't sing. I couldn't dance. But I did have an idea of what comedy was.
Yeah.
Although I fought it. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to be that lead guy, but I was always the other guy or the other guy. And that's when I started to realize, you know what? There's a little bit more power in being the other guy. I can create my own career, and I enjoy being funny.
Yep.
So go ahead.
So, I graduate from high school. I get a job. I go to school in South Carolina.
Like, where were you born anyway?
So I was born in Southern Virginia, a really small town right next to like Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, Jamestown. It's called Matthews. We're right on the Chesapeake Bay. It's they call it single A high school, which means it's the smallest high school classification in the state. So like we had less than 400 people in our entire high school. 86 people in my graduating class.
We have
86.
We have 400 in my graduating class.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how tiny we were.
That's cool.
So it was great. So like I always tell people,
you almost know each other.
Oh my God, everybody. So like my brother was on the JV soccer team. I was on varsity. He just got to hang out with the varsity soccer players because my mom would say, his game's at 5:30, yours is at 7:30. I'm not coming to pick you up and drop you off. He's hanging with you. Don't be a jerk. Let him, because we go out to eat beforehand. Take him to eat. Let him get what he wants. Make sure he's at the field for warm-ups and blah, blah. So he got to hang around and drive with his older brother and all my friends, and the girls were there, and he got to be a part because the younger siblings, you went to the same school. In some of the cases, you were in the same classes if you had the same electives and whatnot. So like they were always a part of it. And that's a small town thing that a lot of people don't get to have. You know what I'm saying? So it was great. So I graduated from, and I wanted to do marine science. Matthews is right on the Chesapeake Bay. There's a lot of watermen, a lot of fishermen, a lot of people are 3rd and 4th generation watermen. They work on the water. They make all of their money harvesting oysters, clams, things like that. And so your upbringing is tied to the water, to the bay. And you want to, from a very early age, they really pumped into this community. You got to save the bay. You got to take care of the Chesapeake Bay. It provides a living for us. Ecology. When the hurricanes would come and it would change the channels and the estuaries. And what can we do to minimize that effect? Because that's where the little fish go to grow up, to where they can go out into the bay and we can harvest them. And so I went for marine science because I love the idea.
How interesting.
Yeah, of studying animals and keeping that bay healthy. While I was at Coastal Carolina University, I had a job at this place. It's going to sound incredible. It's called Alligator Adventure. It's literally a reptile park. And this is like 2004, 5, 2000, yeah, 3, 4, 5. And they needed someone to do live animal shows. Everybody that worked there, no one wanted to work with the animals. And so like, I don't care. Like I just show me how to do it and I'll go talk in front of people. This was the heyday, Mike, of Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. Do you remember him?
Sure, yeah.
And he would come out in these little
Cry
short,
me.
absolutely amazing. Look at this little beauty right here. He's a saltwater crocodile. I'm going to punch him in the nose and see what happens. You know, like he's in a death roll. And one day we were backstage and there's like 35 people in the shows. The shows were not very well attended because normally it was a person who didn't want to do live speaking. They did not want to be around these animals and it wasn't a good show. And I said, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this show as Steve Irwin, but I'm going to create a character called Luke. My name's Luke. I'm from Queensland, Australia. I'm Steve Irwin's third cousin twice removed. And like I went out and I'll never forget the first time I did, I came out and said, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Luke. Welcome to Alligator Adventure. Everyone's head went shunk. And it was like people that were walking behind the bleachers, you just saw like the dads with the, oh, we gotta go. We're going to do a live exhibition here. We've got some animals. Going to be absolutely amazing. Bring the kiddos up. Sit in front. Sheila's in the back. Don't want you to get scared. Let's have a good time. And I did 40 minutes with 4 animals. One was like a king snake, non-venomous snake. One was a ball python, non-venomous python. One was an alligator snapping turtle, which was big. And one was a juvenile alligator. And the cool thing with the alligators was where the stage was, it was kind of like a thrust stage, but underneath it was water. And that's where the juvenile alligators would swim. You would literally, and they taught you how to do this. I'd say, all right, guys, I'm going to get an alligator now. Everyone sit back. Everyone needs you quiet. I'm going to do it. And I would go. The way the alligator's eyes are, they're on top of their head. They can't see above themselves. So they would swim underneath it's like a stage. You would reach your hand down and you would grab them behind the neck, right like that. And they would start to thrash and you would pick them up. You'd put them under your arms so their tail wouldn't smack you. And you would literally, alligators, their muscles are made for closing, not opening. So you can literally hold an alligator's jaw shut. And then we would tape it and we would have the alligator would then, it could walk around I would normally hold it. And I would do a show with the alligator and you could see the nictitating membrane, which is the clear little film that came over. And we would bring a kid out of the audience and we would, all right, mate, you're going to hold him like you're wrestling him. You got to give him a big old hold. Look right in the camera, say, crikey. And they do it. And in like a month and a half, Mike, that show went from being like 30 people to like 400.
Wow.
So many people were coming and just word got out. Like there's this live animal show with this guy from Australia and you should come. It was 100% made up, Mike. It was 100% BS. I was not from Australia. And it was my first time where like I was in charge of a show and I made it funny. Like I was able to write jokes.
The crocodile comic.
Yeah, like I had a snake, and I like so they would do things like you could take a snake and you could put a king snake. They would ball up because they want to be in balls because it's safe for them. They put their head in the middle, their body on the outside, and you could put one in your pocket, and it would just stay in your pocket because you're warm, and they're in a ball, they're happy. So I'd do a little joke like, hold on, let me adjust my balls real quick. It's hot outside, and I'd go like this, and then I'd reach into my pocket. And I'd pull out the ball python, or I'd pull out the king snake, and people would lose it. And I would be like, hold on, I think my ball just dropped. And I'd pull it out, and I'd put it in someone's lap, and they'd go,
Is this a G-rated show?
No, because it was like I had, but nobody cared because it was so good. And it was like a Pixar show. Like I always tell people, like the jokes that the kids didn't understand went right over their heads, but the parents got it. So like I had a bunch of stuff like that. It was amazing. It was the first time I got to write jokes
into
a show.
But it's such a classic thing how comedy evolves.
It does.
It evolved
does.
from something that
Yeah.
most people wouldn't normally do,
No,
but he
no.
took the shot because he's a comedian
Yep.
and he worked it. Now, of course, we have to ask the next question, and everybody's probably
Yeah.
dying to know, were you bitten?
So here's the thing. I was never bitten by an alligator. I did get bit one time. Part of our jobs was we had to clean the cages of all the animals. That was in between the shows. You had to keep, the cages clean. And snakes stay in these plastic cages. And every couple days, you got to wipe the cage down with chlorhexidine, which is a cleaning solution. You got to take all their poop out, change the water. And then you got to feed them. And we fed our animals dead, frozen mice and rats. The process was you had to leave them. They would come frozen. We get them from a company. And then you thaw them out in this warm water. You leave them for about 2 hours because they won't eat cold stuff. They want to eat room temperature.
I don't blame them. I like my food hot.
Yeah. So I was literally working by myself one day, and we had albino Burmese python. It was about 12 feet long. His name was Banana Jack because he was yellow. And we had like 16 of these rats in just this sink. And you are supposed to take these tongs, take the rat out, open the door, shake the rat, and then the snake bites it like it does in the wild, constricts it. Again, non-venomous. This is a constrictor. And then they eat it. For some reason, I don't know what happened. I had gotten the water on my wrist. So the rat, what smelled like rat. And when I went in, his head was facing away from the door. So I was trying to reach in and shake it next to his head. Snakes have awful eyesight. They rely almost 100% on smell and their heat, their pits, essentially, if they're hunting. He went to grab it, missed the rat, but came and bit me on my hand. And they have teeth. What happens is their teeth go in and they set so that the animal can't, because the first thing it's going to try to do is pull away. So those teeth set. So what I had to do is I had to reach in and grab its head, pull it out. And then what you do is you literally have to push. I used a credit card. And you push the teeth up. The teeth will then retract back. It's almost like a sleeve. And little teeny tiny pinpricks, but their saliva has an anticoagulant. So lots of blood. Blood was just, but little, it wasn't like I was shredded. I didn't need stitches.
Were you petrified? Were you like,
I was
dying.
scared because it happened
This is
so
it, I'm
quick.
over.
Mike, it happens so quick. I mean, in this thing, when it hits you, it starts constricting. So it's around my arm. I was able to get it out of the cage. I was able to control the head, got it off, had to, clean the wound, everything. And then I had to go do a show. So I put duct tape all over my hands so it wouldn't bleed everywhere. It was fine. But that was the only thing I ever got bit by was,
how many years did you do that?
I did that, I think 2.5 years. Again, why this is important was because I got to do my own show and I wrote jokes into the show, and B, it wasn't a great job. I was making $9 an hour and I was kind of coming to the end of my career. I knew I was graduating. I didn't really love my major, which was education, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a friend that worked there named Matt, and Matt said to me one day, hypothetically, he said, Lucas, if you knew you were going to die tomorrow at noon, they were going to execute you, what would you do tonight? You can do anything you want. What would you do tonight and die happy? And without even thinking, I go, I'd go do stand-up comedy.
Holy
and he looked
shit.
at me and he went, you can do that, Lucas. Like most people say, I would make love to Halle Berry, or I would be a millionaire, or I would, something that it's
dinner.
out of their control. Yeah. He goes, Lucas, you can there's a comedy club half a mile away from this building.
So you actually said I want to do
I
stand-up.
go, I would go do stand-up. Absolutely. Because I remembered that feeling from years ago when I did it.
You were getting the feeling of doing what you were doing.
Exactly. And I was like, but because that's what I thought was the purest form. I was doing this kind of like, it was a show. I was playing a character. I was like, I would go on stage and I would write my own jokes and I would stand there by myself and I would do stand-up comedy and see if I could get that love, that feeling that I got when I did it on the cruise ship. Even though they weren't my jokes, I still got to feel a little bit of the love, the adrenaline. Yeah. And
it's
so
called something.
my friend Matt was like, you got to do that. Like, he's like, Lucas, you're young enough and you're smart enough.
How old were you?
I was 23. 22 and 22. And he goes, Lucas, you gotta do this. So it was at the beginning of my senior year. And it took me 5 years to graduate because I changed my majors and I lost essentially a year. So that whole year, I took a comedy class with a guy named, Manny Oliveira. He's a guy from Georgia.
No, I can't think of it. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he at the Comedy Cabana in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You ever done the Comedy Cabana?
No, I never
Jeff and
did
Christina Manuel.
I got to get down there.
You got to get down there. They'd love you. You'd crush down there. But I did it, and I took a comedy class, and they make you go up and do, your 2 minutes. And I did great. I loved it. They recorded it. And then Jeff came to me and said, do you want to be the house MC for the Comedy Cabana? We need an opener for the summer. I'll train you how to do it. And he did. He took me under his wing. He showed me how to be a host, which is invaluable. It is one of the greatest skills that anybody's ever taught me. He would say, you go on stage. He goes, first of all, Lucas, audiences are dumb. They're going to do whatever you do. He goes, when you come on stage, if you're nervous, they're going to be nervous. Yeah. So you come on stage with a big smile on your face. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready to have a great show? He goes, you're going to clap because when they see you clapping, they're going to go, oh, we should be clapping now. This is the start of the show. We should get ready.
Wait a minute. It's just so amazing that he's saying that because I don't know if you've been watching, but usually when I get introduced, I come up applauding.
Applauding, yes.
And I smile like, wasn't he great?
And that's the thing. When audiences are followers, and that's what Jeff taught me. He's like, you're the conductor, they're the band. They're gonna do what you do. If you project negative energy, they're gonna project it because they don't know.
Right.
They don't know what to do.
100%.
And so he goes, you walk on stage with the biggest smile. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. He goes, you make eye contact with the people in the front row. Why? Because those people are the most nervous people. Because they're right up front. And you say, hey, guys, we're going to have a great time tonight, aren't we?
It's okay.
We're going to have a great time. Are you happy to be here? I'm happy to be here. We're going to have a great time. And then you do your announcements. Get them right out of the way. Guys, listen, real quick, cell phones off. Keep your table conversations to a minimum. Let's have a round of applause for the two comics in the back. Give it up for Mike Marino, your headliner. Yeah. Give it up for Cooter Douglas, your feature. He'll be here in a second. And then how about something for me? Give me some love. And now they're clapping. All right. And now you go in, as Jeff said, you go into your second best bit. You open with your second best. You close with your best because you always want to end on a laugh. And I would go in, bam, 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 bam.
No, let's do this real quick. If there's any comedians watching this show, this is 100% accurate information. This is, 101. This
Comedy
is
101.
why you do it because we've been performing this week on the ship together, and I'm hoping you're saying to yourself, I noticed Marino actually does that.
He does it. I watched him.
Applauding.
Yes.
And I go like this, hey, as if to say, get him.
Get him. Yep.
And then I go, and then I go, and I go. And usually when I'm done, if I have to introduce somebody new, I try to get my applause break, and I say, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Here he is. So that the next guy just needs to fly.
Yep.
And he can say whatever he wants. You could throw a dig at me. You could say one more time, whatever.
Yep.
All they have to do is fly like a marathon. You took the baton, and now
go. It's on that guy. Now it's that guy's show. And you've left, as again, Jeff always said, he's like, the show starts here, Lucas. A good show, the next comic will bring it to here, and the headliner will bring it to here. There's a trajectory to your show. You don't want a show to go, wah, 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 to go down in the middle. You want it to be good. And he would always say, remember, it's not about you, Lucas. You're the first comic. You're the conductor. You're there to set the stage. Listen, guys, this is going to be a great show, and here's why. And you go up and you do your 10 to 15 minutes of clean, fun, uplifting, non-judgmental material, and then your job is to get off the stage and let the other two comics hit the home run. And no one had ever explained that to me. It makes so much sense.
This is such a great thing to hear because I know everybody's not going to see this, but there's three of us on the show this week. The other comedian is Simeon Kirklees.
Awesome.
And all three of us, I won't even throw myself in there. These two guys are killing. It's so damn funny to watch for a comedian in the back of the room to watch these guys just blow the room away. And I'm hoping you saw this too. I mean, I said on stage that one night, I says, folks, when the comedians wait in the back,
Yeah.
to watch other entertainers. You know you're getting the greatest show.
Yeah.
Because we can't wait to be entertained.
Exactly.
Which normally we're like kind of almost like, well, we've seen it before. I'll go wait outside.
Yeah.
Not this week. Now this week it's like,
Yeah.
you better fucking bring it. Here it comes.
Well, and that's the thing. People always say sometimes they'll see me in the back and they'll go, why are you here? And I go, I love comedy. I got in this business, Mike, because I loved comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I get free comedy tickets to the best comics everywhere. I want to be there and watching.
Yeah.
Like,
we get to watch this shit for free.
I could go and, pay money and see him at a theater. I could, or I could just work with him on a bus. And like, you see, why would I not go see
for
it?
free.
Yeah. And it's like my dad loves the Beatles. Okay. In the past 30 years, they're finding all these Beatles sessions that have been unreleased, Mike. It's just them jamming in a studio in London and they're recording. It's not, they're just practicing. It's like, it's kind of like an open mic, or they're doing really small shows in front of like a very limited, 12, 15 people. And like my father loves to just listen to that, because they'll start a song and then they'll stop, and Paul's like, oh yeah, why don't we try that from the top, and we'll do and then someone's in the background, oh well, I had a good time last night, and it's exactly what comedians do after the show. And like, you'll be doing something and Simi and I'll lean over and I'll go, that whole thing where he goes, listen, I didn't steal it, I took it. Everybody, like, I go, that's genius. Like, how many times, like, and again, like, you do the whole Italian thing and you go, yeah, to Italians, they go, I didn't steal it, I took it. Like, and there is a difference. There's a difference. But like to Italian people, that's an extreme difference. Like, no, I didn't come here to take it. I saw it and then I took it. And you're like, yes, like,
it's the ultimate compliment.
It is
when another comedian focuses on what you did and says that was clever.
Yeah, and like I go to Simeon and I go, Simeon, that's genius. That needs to be. And you even said, I go, that needs to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
like, that's so good. It needs to be. I didn't steal it. I took it. There's a difference, and there is a difference. There is a difference. Like, people will argue with you. No, you knew you were gonna come and steal that money. I showed up and saw that the bank door was open and there was no one behind the thing, and I went, I'm taking it. Like,
he just wrote me another joke.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't rob the bank. I took some stuff.
The door was open.
The door was open. Like, yeah.
You left the money on the table. I figured, I might as well take it.
That's right. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. And so, it's such I love watching comedy.
He just wrote a joke live on the podcast.
Yeah. So again,
what do you see going to see in the future? People are like, Marino did that joke that Lucas gave him. I saw it on the podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, at least you know I didn't steal it.
Yeah. He took it. That's good. That's good.
All right. So we've got to go back to your friend Matt.
Yeah.
He said, if you can do anything and you're going to die the next day, you chose stand-up comedy. Where are we going from there? Because I want to get to the impersonations.
I didn't have a car. I didn't have a car at the time because my parents were very anti, like, you don't need a vehicle. You need to focus on schoolwork. So I was literally getting rides to and from the comedy club. I had a girl, she was my girlfriend, but a girl that had a vehicle. And she came to me one day and she said, I got free tickets to the Comedy Cabana. Do you want to come? And I was like, yes. I will pay for everything. I'll get you food. I'll get the drinks. Yes, I want to go. We did it. Loved it. It was amazing. We're leaving the club and she goes, oh, do you know Jeff? And I went, who's Jeff? He goes, Jeff is the owner. Do you want to meet him? I know Jeff because blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I want to meet Jeff. So I go up, I shake his hand. I go, I love this. This was amazing. What a great experience. Thank you so much. I've always wanted to do comedy and I've written some stuff, but I just don't know how to do it, but I love comedy. And I'll never forget, Mike, it was when my life took a turn. Like, you know how you have branches in your life where something happens and your whole trajectory changes. This was one of those moments I'll never forget. Jeff looked at me and goes, what are you doing in like 20 minutes? And I was like, I don't know. Why? What? And he goes, well, we'll put you up on the second show. And I was like, oh. And I turned to the girl and I went, can we wait like 30 minutes? She was like, yeah. So he sat us down again and, we were in the back, and I went and I got a golf pencil. those little pencils they have
Yeah,
for the,
yeah.
write your phone number down. And I wrote on a napkin 3 things that I had written, but like I didn't have my notes with me and I was kind of flustered. All I remember, Mike, I don't even remember what it was. I remember they introduced me. I went on stage. I got the mic. I did a minute and a half of material, but I got one laugh. I got one big laugh. The whole audience kind of went like, and it was big enough to where it wasn't like one person. It was the entire audience. And I never forget. It was like, set the hook. Like I got it. And it just, the whole trajectory of my life, I went, oh, I got to do this. Like it was, I've never done cocaine, Mike. I've never done heroin, but in my life, that is what I think it is like to addicts. The first time you do that illicit drug, you go, oh, I need this again. That was my drug. That was my first hit. First one's free. And then from then on, I was like, I will pay anything to have this experience again. And that's when Jeff, I took the class a couple months later. Jeff asked me to be the house MC. And again, I was making $25 a show, Mike, and a free meal. And for a college kid, I was a billionaire.
You're a millionaire.
I was a millionaire, $50 covered. And by that time, when I came back my senior year, because I was doing educational practicums, I had to go to school. I had my car. I had my little Toyota Tercel. So all I needed was gas money, and they were giving me a free meal. And like, I could bring, I had a girlfriend. I brought her. Look, I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to be on stage. You can see me. I'm getting paid to do this thing. And you're with the band now. You're like, what? And
this
it was
exactly
amazing.
it. And it's funny. He's describing the performance drug.
Yeah.
I guess it's called endorphins and dopamine.
Yep. Dopamine, yep.
Whatever you get, it's a high that, the average person is just never going to know what it's like. But you get so high.
Yep.
That it's the best sex you ever had, it's the best food you ever had,
Yep.
it's the best money you ever made,
Yep.
all wrapped into one, and you shoot it out. And as soon as you're done, we come to another problem in our lives.
Yep. When are
How am I
going to
do it again?
Exactly. When am I going to do it again?
Even if you have a bad night, fuck it.
You're like,
Tomorrow,
yeah.
I'm going to redeem
You're like, I'm going to get it
myself.
tomorrow.
I'm
Yep.
redeeming myself.
Yep.
And then once it's in your blood, you can't stop. It's unstoppable.
It is, 100%.
And then when you get to a level where you actually earn a living as a stand-up comic, I don't know about you, but I'm going to say this because I know he's going to say, yes, it's him. You want more.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want more. You could sell out 1,500 seats. The place is going to go wild. As soon as you're done, are we doing this next weekend?
Yeah,
Because
exactly,
I got to do this next. We're not doing it next week? Why? Why not? Then you're going to do a special. You film the special. It's a hit. Everybody knows you. Oh, I got to do a movie.
Yeah,
I got to do a movie. Why didn't I do a movie? Shouldn't I be further along? And now I really don't even know what that is. That's why sometimes you'll find a lot of comedians searching out therapy because you want it so badly. Whereas people, let's say my age, because I don't know how old you are, guys my age who are in different businesses, they want to retire. They don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
They've had enough. I can't get enough.
Yep.
I'm not retiring.
Yeah.
I'm going to retire when I'm as old as Henny Youngman.
Yep.
And hopefully I'll have a classic line somewhere.
Yep.
Maybe it could be. I didn't steal it. I took it.
There you go. I like it. So I'm 43, and I tell people I went a long time ago. During COVID, there's no work. I never knew if this industry was going to come back, Mike. And so I went to therapy, and the woman goes, "How do you see yourself? What is the ideal way that you would want to exit this world? Like, how would you want to exit it on your own terms?" And I go, "Oh, on my own terms?" I go, I perform at a comedy club, I kill, I walk off stage, I die. That's how I want to do it.
Oh my gosh.
I want to walk off stage, and it doesn't have to be a big club. It could be a small club. It could be a theater. It could be a performance. I want to walk off stage doing what I love, kiss my wife, and die. Like, that's how I want to be a Don Rickles, and that's how he died. He came off stage, he called his wife, and he sat down and went, huh, and he went to sleep. Like, comics want to do what they want to do, and they want to be closest to this art form because it gives you stuff. I told my wife this once. I go, listen, and again, women, don't get mad. We're different. Men, the comedians are different people. Okay. She said something like, give me top 3 things. And I go, you're not going to like it. Yeah. You want to know I go, you're not going to like it. And she goes, I want you to be honest with me. I go, number 1, comedy. Number 1. I go, comedy has made me feel things that no woman, no kid, no religion, no food, no alcohol, no drug has ever made me feel. That is, there will always be comedy in my life. There might not be a wife. There might not be kids. There might not be money. There will be comedy. Comedy is number one. You are number two. You are clearly number two. Wifey is number two. Kids are number three. Religion is number four. Family above that. But you got to know, if all of this is gone, I'm still coming back to this thing that I love, and that's comedy. And I go, for me, comedy was there when no one else was. When you weren't in my life, when the kids weren't in my life, when I didn't have money, when I didn't have a home, when I didn't have a trajectory of my life, this thing that I loved, that I chased after for years, was always there, and it always made me feel good.
It's really amazing that he says this, because I think it's true to form for most comedians or entertainers, because I've had comedian friends who weren't doing great as comics. They weren't making enough money. They got married. They had families. They had to go get other jobs, and they quit stand-up. And I remember it affected me. I'm like, wait a minute. Come on, man. Don't do that.
You love it? Don't you love it?
Don't do that. And then they make a comeback somewhere. Like a couple of years goes by, and they're like, you know what? I got to get back in the game.
Yeah.
So maybe their life changed where their wife can take care of the kid and they can go back on the road, and they come back with a vengeance, and they come back twice as good as they were before.
Yep.
So it's nice to see. I just had a friend of mine get back in it. He quit like 3 times and he got back in it. And I'm happy about that. It's something about it that makes me feel good that he make this comeback.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're saying what you're saying, because that means he has an extreme passion for this industry, which is not going to stop, and he's not going to stop at just being a comedian.
And
he's
there's
an innovator.
it's unconditional. And as I say, comedy is unconditional love. It is. It's not dependent on the money you make. It's not dependent on the car you drive. It's not dependent on the house you live in. It's not dependent on, did you remember to pick the kids up from school, and did you bring me flowers? No, comedy is, if you put the work in, and if you take the risks, and you drive the hours, and it will give you something back. And that's what I think. I mean, that's the definition of art. Art is how something makes you feel unconditionally, not tied to anybody else or anything else.
You're also going to get, let's say, a fan letter.
Yeah.
And that fan letter is going to say something like, "You made my day.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through something, but when I watched you, I forgot all about it. Or I watch you daily, or I can't wait to hear what you say." Those things will keep us moving like a machine. So always say something nice to a comedian, because quite honestly, and watch, I want to see his reaction on this one. I can get 1,000 fan letters. You were great, you were great, you were great. Then I'm going to get one letter that's going to say, I didn't like anything you did. And that's all I see.
All you think about.
You mother. What?
Yeah. Well, that's like the joke. It's a straight comedy joke. This guy is outside of New York Comedy Club, and this beautiful blonde comes up, and they've just done 3 shows in a row, sold out. And this beautiful blonde comes up, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were so funny. You were hysterical. You made my night. You are the funniest person I have ever seen in my life. You are amazing." The guy goes, "Thank you very much. Thank you very much." Another more beautiful than last comes up, and she goes, "I didn't think you were funny at all." And the comedian goes, "What show did you see?" You know what I'm saying? Like, immediately they want to know, wait, what? Why don't you like that? Like, what did I do differently? Did I do something different? And it's like, you can get 1 billion good compliments, and the one compliment they go, no. You go, wait a minute. Well, what was the show that you saw? What did you not like? And I think a lot of like the older I get, Mike, and I think you're probably the same way too, like, I focus less and less on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, less and less on why they didn't like it, because 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you and you're like, all right, that's stupid. Like I can't, that's just, you're dumb. I can't. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really
but
care
it does.
anymore.
In the back of your head, you can get 500 good comments, and then the one that you didn't, you're just like, But yeah, love it.
Well, let's do this now.
Got it.
So I'm watching Lucas perform on stage, and he does some characters, and the characters are really, really funny. And I'd like to touch on that, because, I mean, I watch MeTV. MeTV is all the classics, and you could see cartoons like Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse, and you can watch you know, Batman and Robin, the originals, and you could watch Shaggy and Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And we all, as comedians, think, who created that? What the heck were they thinking about? What a goof. So he has a play on this, and he does a lot of impersonations. So could you tell us about it?
So I grew up, like I said, again, small town. We literally had like 5 channels. We did not have cable. Cable did not come out to where we lived. So there was no option to get cable. You just didn't have it. I had 5. We had an antenna with the bunny ears. Do you guys remember the bunny ears? Yeah, we had an antenna. So we got literally. So my grandparents lived in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is bigger than where I grew up. They had cable. So they had like 40 channels. Some of them were the Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, Nick Jr. And I would go over there to their house and I would watch television for as long as they allowed me to watch television because we didn't have cartoons. And I remember I would watch the Hanna-Barbera and, you know, like all of the, everything you just said. Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Animaniacs, Batman and Robin, you know, Sesame Street. And I just absorbed it. And it was amazing because it was another type of art form that I was never exposed to. These were actors who their job was to create a character and then create 17 more. You know, you had one guy back in the 40s, 50s, 60s that did the voice for Daffy Duck, Donald Duck.
Mel Blanc?
Mel Blanc. Yeah, he did all of them. And they would say, here's a picture of the character.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah, here's the picture. Do a voice. And he would literally go in the back, go into a sound booth, and he would just start playing with his voice.
How do you think about that? Mel Blanc
did everything.
Yeah, wow.
He did all of them.
I'm lucky
Sylvester,
if I could do one.
And he was the guy, and he was just. They'd show him a picture. All right, you got to go in the back, do it, and he would go in the thing and start playing. Okay, do it a little bit higher this time. All right, read the line like this, and he would come up with, you know, with a person, you know, hey there, kids, this is what we're gonna do today, suffering succotash, you know, and I would watch that, and I would try to do it. I would say, oh, okay, so he talks out of the side of his and he does a little bit of like that, like suffering succotash, you know, and then you go to a different guy, and you know, like I watch Sesame Street, Elmo. Okay, how does you know Clash, the guy, his name is Clash. How does he do Elmo? And he you would see that his neck muscles would kind of like constrict, and it's like, all right, so how does he do that? And I would go in the mirror and I would watch him when he would do it, and I would see his neck muscles, and I would go, okay, how do you get your neck muscles to? And I would push, and I would go like this, and then sooner or later I would go, okay, Elmo said he's going to come do this right now. Yay! Look at that! Elmo is here! Elmo loves you! And I would listen to the cadence and how he said it. Oh, hi, baby! He does, oh, hi, baby. It was kind of like a wave. Oh, hi, baby! Are you gonna have a good time today? I'm gonna go say hi to my fish. And there's a very, there's
I
like
didn't
an
even
arc.
know you could do that. That is unbelievable.
And so then like I would watch Scooby and Shaggy, and then like Scooby has a very like, it's a very like almost like survey, like zoink Scoobs, check it out, you guys. We're gonna go to the haunted castle over there. Hope there's not any ghosts in it. Yeah. It always starts with, he does it and then it goes high and then low. Okay. Yeah. Scooby doesn't like ghosts. Like, and again, the voice goes high and it goes low. And it just, from hours, Mike, of me listening to that and just trying to go, like zoinks. And again, Scooby does it the same, like zoinks, Scoobs. You know?
Was the voice for them the same guy? For both?
It was, I think it's the same guy. Yeah. The same guy did Scooby and he did Shaggy. And it used to be Casey Kasem. Do you remember
right,
that?
Yeah, sure.
From Casey Kasem. This song is
American
from
Top
1973.
Yeah.
And he did that. And so like, it was just such a unique thing. And I learned how to do it. It's a skill. That's why I love comics like Frank Caliendo. I love Simeon. Like people that can do impressions, it's so much harder because I know the amount of time they put into it. And again, like I do an Australian accent. Like it just came from me hearing accents and just practicing them. And you do a British accent. Hello, mum's the word for queen and country. And then, hey, g'day, mate. My name's Steve. We're gonna go wrestle some crocodiles. And like, hello, my name is Vashid, and today we are going to talk about. My name is King Julian. Oh my gosh, we are going to go there. I love it so much. Oh, look at me. I am very serious, eh? And like, I just did it, and it became a part of me that like. I would hear voices. I have one of my shows is called Voices I Hear. I would hear voices
dangerous.
in character form. Like, listen to me right now. I'm very upset. I'm King Julian. I do not have to do this. Why don't you listen to me? And it became a part of my set, and it became a part of my set that I love doing because
I love watching what he does when it comes to Shaggy and Scooby. I'm in the back cracking up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know whether you smoke pot or you don't. It might help you a little bit. But I like to get high once in a while. And I always thought when I was watching Shaggy and Scooby eat cartoon food, I'm like, I would eat that too. Where did he get that hamburger?
Yeah, exactly. And again, like that was part of the joke that I said, like growing up, now we know as adults, they're probably high. They were probably high. Those characters were the stoners of the show. And like, it just, you do that, but then you do the impression. I love it, man.
Who else do you do?
So I do a whole thing. Like I love Adam Sandler, but I love specific characters that he does. Adam Sandler's very like, okay, all right, here we go. Okay. Okay, thanks. Here we go. Would you like a piece of pie? Would you like a piece of pie? Bobby Boucher, I do Al Pacino. Hoa! Oh, look at this guy here. He's gone. Hoa! Fran Drescher, oh, Mr. Sheffield. Just silly stuff, Christopher Walken. Wow, the other day I saw, stop. Wow, hey, yeah, wow. Just silly stuff.
Here's a trivia too for everybody. I don't know if you've heard this before. I would assume you have. But you do look like a comedian who is a legend.
Who?
George Carlin.
George Carlin.
You heard it?
No, yeah. So
you ever try a George Carlin impersonation?
So I haven't. Here's why, and here's the only thing why. I want to be able to do it so well that there's no question at all who I'm trying to do. I don't think I have the gruffiness. I could try, but also George is known for being very crass and very. He does the 7 words you can't say on television, which is a great bit. I have always, because again, I have kids and I was a school teacher, so I was around kids. I try to
keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Exactly. I try to keep it clean. And again, George was very unapologetic, and that's what made him great.
That's his generation.
And he's going to come out and do it, and he's going to do it the way he wants to do it, and that's it. And I don't want to do something that is not, if I'm paying an homage to him, I want to do it in his exact way, not in a way that I feel does any of my personal beliefs,
My opinion is you should give it a try because someday, somewhere, they're going to do a documentary on George Carlin. They might even make a movie, and I think you got that.
Yeah, man.
You definitely have the metronome, you got the timing, you got the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we got to get going. We've been chatting for quite some time. Why don't you tell everybody who's watching the podcast tonight where they can find you and follow you on social media?
So I have a Facebook page. It's just, it's at Comic, COMIC, Lucas, LUCAS, Bohn, BOHN, at Comic Lucas Bohn. That's my fan page. We also have we didn't talk about this. We can talk about it later if you want. A comedy record label, and it's called Bojo Entertainment. I've helped, we've recorded 85 albums so far, comedy albums. 38 of them have been picked up and are playing on SiriusXM Comedy Americas and in Canada. I'm very proud of that. And that's Bojo Entertainment. You can hear all of our albums on iTunes, Pandora, streaming on SiriusXM channels, on all of them. Find me on social media. Come see me. I'm going to be opening for Mike soon in Florida. I think we're going to do some Boca Black Box.
Don't say stuff. Opening, say performing with me.
Performing with. Yeah.
Hey, listen, we got to get going. Before I sign off, Let's do a nice big shout out to my producer, Tatiana Blue Shell, for always making sure we have a great guest come down the basement. We put out a great show every Tuesday night on my YouTube channel, Mike Marino Live on YouTube, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Jersey time. We're also on Spotify, and you can listen to us on Italian American Radio out of New York City, brought to you by my friend Johnny Anello. They call him Johnny Mandolin. We got to get going. Remember, let's make America Italian again. You know the motto. You don't know nothing. You don't see nothing. You don't say nothing. And how do I end every single one of my podcasts by saying the same thing along with my guest?
He didn't steal it. He took it.
He's coming up with a new one. That's really good. That could be the new one for the future. But right now we say this. Don't take no shit from nobody.
That's right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Don't take no shit from nobody. Hey folks, thanks for watching live from my mother's basement. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, hit the word like and leave me a really cool comment. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the future episodes, and you can watch some of the funniest videos on the internet. You can also listen to the show on Spotify or your favorite podcast app.